Hello there, everyone. This is I, Soul Silver 17 here. Let me fruits like usual. I done these pictures, made the thumbnail, none the video. Okay, so I like to wish you a Merry Christmas Eve. So, let me just turn my fan. Anyways, I know it's not Christmas, but it's my Christmas special. I'm counting Christmas Eve as because I have no work. So I can probably make money what ifs, and I want to get this out of the way because, hey, it's Christmas Eve. It's gonna be Christmas. I want to sleep early for Christmas so I can wake up in the morning. Maybe. Who knows? But does that matter? So, a few things are gonna be changing this one. I'm still saying Deku, Shive, Zuko, but he's not. He's not gonna be called Deku because of this. He is a Todoroki, the oldest son. Toya is the second eldest. Basically, he is, well, two. Yeah, he is. No, he is 3 years older than Toya. So basically, Izuku's birthday is, well, in front of Toya's. So technically, Toya will be 13, and Izuku will be 17. So, am I going to do my math correctly? 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Then he turns 14, and then 17, but then turn 18. Yeah, pretty much. But anyways, yeah. So Izuku will basically, become Jack Frost. And a few things are going to be changing. So the Guardians are not known, besides Easter Bunny, only by like 2 people, but they're not important for right now. And well, Izuku is a Todoroki, so he's gonna be dealing with the most, I think, problem family I've ever met in anime history. I think. Wait, no, there's a few more families that have problems in anime. But anyways, so yeah. So we're kind of just. I'm just gonna tell you the basics. So basically, Endeavor, was training Izuku. I mean, they found out he had an ice quirk, stronger than his mom. Basically she can only send ice out, while Izuku can basically make ice from his hand and throughout his whole entire body, but also turned, well, the water vapor in the air into ice and control it. So basically, he had full on control over anywhere ice is. Heck, he can actually basically summon ice from the very, after making it. If it's like, he covered a whole entire area in ice, anywhere around that, he basically controls where it is. Like, he can basically make ice spikes appear. With just even a snap of his finger, he can create like a, well, not a blizzard, but, you know. Hold on. Okay, but my dad was gonna come into my room. Anyways. So, I mean, he basically creates a whole entire area of just anything. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be coming in handy when he becomes Jack Frost. So, I mean, this is over the years. I mean, he has been going to hero school. He knew basically a girl there named by Mirako, so he knew about, he knew her. He basically knew from childhood. They didn't meet until he was in UA, and he was in his 3rd year, gonna be, graduating soon. Well, technically being 4th. Actually, I really think about it, he'll probably be in. I graduated when I was 17. Eh. Yeah. Excuse me. But, he'll be basically going to his 4th year. So, yeah. Him and Mirako were childhood friends, but they kind of got separated because of Mirako's parents died, and she basically, Zuko met this man that looked like a full-on human-sized rabbit, but they didn't mind it at all. They didn't even care. Mirako knows about the Guardians. They all accepted it. The Man in the Moon was okay with this, basically. So, anyways, so many years pass. He never saw her again until UA. They were friends. Mirako had a crush on Zuko. Zuko had a crush on her. they were 17-ish. So, the thing is, though, while these years were happening, Jack Frost, something was happening to him. He was getting dizzy. He fainted a few times. He felt tired. He was sleeping a lot. And the Man in the Moon was worried. So, he basically, though, told Jack that he had a theory and something may be happening to him. Which Jack just says basically, like, what? Actually, with my explanation, this is just kind of going into the story anyway, so, works out. He goes, I think you are dying, Jack. He's like, wait, I'm already dead. So how am I? He was like, well, when you died, you became a spirit. He goes, okay, how did that work? He was like, I'm the Man in the Moon. He, just quick note, just a quick thing. I don't know how Jack, when he was in water and frozen, he became white hair and no one could see him. So I think he's just a spirit. Unless you see him. Like the Guardian. Basically he becomes a Guardian, everyone can see him stuff. So basically this is how my theory is going for. I'm going with it. So basically though, he says, when I basically brought you back to life, I turned you into a spirit. Basically becoming a Guardian in the future, so that way it would be, easy, for you to be believed in. But the thing is, I did not count on your actual time running out. He's like, wait, what? Every spirit, doesn't have a time, but because you became a Guardian, and you were once human who was turned into mid-death, you basically had a time limit, and you only have 1,000 years left to find a successor. Which Jack is upset. So basically he tells Tooth Fairy and all of that because they were together. I don't know why, I just thought it'd be fun, interesting to have that in. And she's upset by this, but she understands. So, they are together for basically, this was in the age of Quirk, so it's not even that long. He still has time, but he found the perfect successor. Anyways, continuing on. So, everything what happened to Toya when he's 14 instead of when he was younger, when he had the whole time mental breakdown. And we are going after, the day where Toya basically kind of was like, only Izuku believed in him. Endeavor and Rin never did. Well, basically, he was always supportive, he trained him, and, yeah, Toya's a real stronger in this one. So, basically, though, this is the day before 10 months, so for him, yeah, anyways. So, hold on. Okay, so basically, Endeavor was, basically Toya asked Endeavor to come to his training spot, Toya's, and Izuku, well, in this case also Izuku's, to basically show what Toya has learned with his quirk, to impress him. In this one, Endeavor is still the same way. He wanted to be All Might, but he wasn't excessive with Izuku, so he was like a kind father. But then with Toya, he kind of became, drill into his head that he's gonna become the number one hero of Japan, and everything changed after Toya was kept on hurting himself with his own quirk, and Izuku seeing this, he saw his parents not handling it the right way and such, and it just pissed him off. So yeah, even though he has an ice quirk, he has a fiery temper sometimes when it comes to his family. So doesn't make sense, but hey. So yeah, we're just going to that night. So basically, Izuku's eating dinner, which he made, he made basically because Rin was taking care of Todoroki. Natsuo and Fuyumi are eating too. So they're just chatting. She's like, "So big brother, how was school?" He's like, the usual, just studying, training, and a little bit of talking to. Oh, hold on. Just talking to roomie. So basically, this just a normal day. She was like, oh, which then Natsuo was like, so you figured out any new moves with your quirk? He was like, oh yeah. I figured out how I could basically slingshot just a little hockey, ice, basically a hockey puck. Yeah, hockey puck made out of ice. Slingshot and got hit my teacher in the head. I mean, he told us to come at him in training, and then he was pissed because I nailed him right between the eyes. Which basically Natsuo and Fumi chuckle. And then basically he told me, stop goofing around. And basically I just then tapped my foot on the floor. I started forming. He was running at me. He slipped. I sidestepped, and then he slid and, ice wall. And I'm like, what? Come on, I like to have a little bit of fun. Besides, what's wrong? Can't handle the cold? So, yeah, I mean, he did beat me in the end. He is a pro hero, but, I mean, he did have difficult beating me. So anyways, after he says that, Endeavor walks in, or Enji Todoroki, which Roomie, says hello to him and such. Which Zuko's like, wait, didn't Toya ask him to come in? Come to the training ground? Oh, this bastard. He's not even going to go visit him. Shit, Toya's gonna be upset. So basically, Zuko, gets up, he just tells his siblings he'll be right back. Which Endeavor, walking past him is basically Zuko walking past Endeavor. He goes, Zuko, where are you going? He was like, I'm going to go see Toya. He was like, what do you mean? He's like, did you seriously forget about him asking you to come over to the training grounds? Like, seriously, are you just gonna ignore him? Which Endeavor was like, he probably didn't make that much progress since he keeps hurting himself. He was like, I can't believe you're my father and a pro hero. Look, just because he hurts himself doesn't mean he can get a resistance to it. He was like, how would you know? He was, oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been helping him? Are you a freaking idiot? Legit. You're the number 2 hero, and yet you cannot tell when someone's getting stronger because someone actually helps? My ice is basically stronger than Mom's, and basically, I don't know how, but for some reason, I can freeze your flames and his. And yet, though, Toya still tries his hardest to beat me. Which, yes, he does burn himself, but we don't take it too far. And besides, at least I have the decency to keep training him. Right after, he needed help to learn his quirk. Which Endeavor's just looking at him, which then he's like, Endeavor literally just says, so, basically, where is the training ground? Where is it? And he's like, why? So you could just tell him he shouldn't be trying no more, trying to become the number 1 because of your ego? Look, I already know what you told him earlier, and I already know what he tried to do to, Shoto, but to be fair, you drilled that into his head he's going to become the number 1 hero. A great hero. And then as soon as he hurts himself, and, basically in his eyes, he was thinking you're only using him as a tool. Basically to achieve that dream of number 1. Which, luckily I've been helping him out on that. I told him, don't worry about what you think, because I sure don't. But, Zuko's, walking towards the door, as Endeavor, says, what do you mean? He's like, the father I knew isn't this selfish prick. Legit. So, and then basically as soon as my little brother's born, you're acting like, oh, he's your perfect masterpiece, the one who's gonna succeed all might for you. Do it with your own 2 hands. Then come talk to me. Which Endeavor was like, don't talk to me, don't talk to me in that way in my house, basically. And Zuko was like, or what? You're gonna kick me out? I don't care. I legit don't fucking care. Like, I lost all respect from you a long time ago, which then he was also, what type of hero legit tells his son he's gonna become, or at least going to become the number one, and then, yeah, then just stops his training just because he hurts himself. Doesn't even try to help him out. Doesn't even basically try and get his body stronger just because his flames become blue. So while you're gonna basically just stay in this household and not care about your son, I'm gonna go look for my brother. So basically, Ren goes like, Izuku, you shouldn't be. It's like, oh, mom, just shut it. You're no better than him. Just literally shut it. Actually, you know what? Since I'm turning 18 in about, well, in basically 10 minutes, I'm gonna talk to, Toya, and I'm gonna ask him if he wants to come live with me, because I am done living here in this household. Which, everyone's shocked. He goes like, which basically Joe was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, like I said, the father I knew is gone, even including the mother. So, you know what that means? I hate you both. To the point where I will want to take all my siblings with me, but the fact is they need their mother and father. My brother my brother needs me the most. My one who has a problem with his quirk that hurts him. So, I really wish I was never your son. Basically, he just leaves the house. Endeavor is shocked. Ren is crying a little bit. So, Izuku goes looking for Toya. Toya has his mental breakdown about the family and such. She forgot about Izuku, what he's done. And, well, there's a fire in the forest. Which then, Izuku sees it, and he gets there, he's like, shit! Pro heroes are, there, and they're like, kids, stay back! And basically, he's like, oh, hell no, I'm not leaving my brother die! Move out of my way! Basically, pro heroes are legit trying to stop him, but all of a sudden, ice walls are blocking them. As when he gets to the fire, he legit just stomps his foot in the ground, as a whole bunch of ice is, covering the flames, making sure they are, well, out. That took out half of the forest of flames. As he goes, good. Now I just need to. As when he puts his hand on it, he digs his fingernails into it just a little, and he crushes through the ice, breaking an entryway to it. As he goes, good. But fuck though. Half of that. I only took half of the forest out. Man, that took a lot out of me, but who cares? My brother needs me. As basically he just runs, towards where Toya is. As well, Toya was basically in the area where the fire was. He tried to escape. There's a lake that was frozen. And, well, I just want to point this out. Just because Izuku would have an ice resistance, a very high one. Remember, okay, let me explain this. Izuku has a high resistance to ice. He can freeze, basically. He still can freeze like any normal human. But the problem, with his stamina is the one that eats up with the quirk, he can freeze over his body, he can go into hypothermia and then die if he overuses his quirk. But the thing is, Toya has produced a large amount of flames and has, Izuku freeze them. This is how Izuku got so strong. So, what happens also is this. If you really think about it, Izuku also has a good enough stamina to make a lot of ice. But the problem is, there's a whole bunch of fire in this big forest. So Izuku covered half of this forest in ice. That took out a lot of his stamina. And some part of his body is having, ice freezing over him. So technically, what's going to happen to him is going to happen. But it's also because when ice is already on him, it's going to cover him. Well, something's going to happen to him. So, continuing on, as basically Toya gets to trying to get away from fire which then all of a sudden ice, basically he sees a whole bunch of ice covers half of the forest, and then a hole opens up and Zuko's basically run through it. Yeah, he basically broke a hole in his ice that he made all the way to the lake. As he goes, Toya! Where she goes, big brother, you're here. He's like, didn't I always say I was gonna be there for you? He's like, I'm sorry, I lost control. He's like, it's fine. No one's gonna get hurt. Basically, Zuko's walking over. Toya sees, like, ice is on his arm. Basically, half his arm is frozen, his left arm. Even ice is on his, both his legs. He's like, brother, you're freezing over. Yeah, but don't worry. As Zuko's walking more, he just, because of the ice and also because the fire is kind of melting the lake a little bit, but because of the ice already on it, it's adding more weight. He starts walking, and then all of a sudden, he kind of hears the ice crack. He's like, shit. And so he's like, Izuku, I'm scared, basically. He says that. He was like, he says, Izuku, I'm scared. And Izuku was like, shit, how can I? Because I don't have enough energy to save him. One last use of my quirk. I lived a good life. I feel glad to save my brother then. So, Izuku basically is like, hey, you know how when we always like to play little games? Like, but this is a dangerous situation, I know, but come on. I mean, imagine, we're on a lake on ice. So, how about we play a little bit of ice scotch? He's like, huh? It's hopscotch with ice, though. So, as then basically he jumps to the side, to his right side a little bit. He's like, see? Just like regular hopscotch. And then basically he jumps forward, and he was like, whoa. Basically he's like leaning forward, and Toya just laughs. He was like, alright. So, one last jump. As then he does make a bigger jump, and he lands perfectly. As the ground is, the ice is okay. As Toya's, ice is cracking, because technically he's still a little bit on fire too. I forgot to mention that. He was like, so, what's gonna happen is that you just have to close your eyes and believe you can fly. Alright? He's like, alright, I believe in you, brother, basically. So, Izuku says, alright, now then. And basically, he puts his hands together, and then he creates, a staff, but then with a hook. So, what happens is, he goes, alright then, here we go in 3, 2, 1, and he jumps forward and flings Toya past where he, flings him to the area where he was, but since it was on ice, he slides a little bit, and then he stops. He's like, see? What I told you! As, Zuko tries to, his arm and his leg are stuck as he realizes, as Toya is like, brother! He's like, hey, Toya, remember that promise we made together? Which, let's have a flashback to where Zuko, before he went to middle school, Toya basically says, Zuko, can you make me a promise? He goes, sure. He goes, when I become a hero, promise that we'll work together to become the number 1. Promise me. He goes, sure thing, little guy. Promise. See? Thanks. Basically, after that, the flashback ends, which Toya's crying. He was like, sorry I can't keep it, but promise me something. He goes, what? Anything. He goes, become the number 1. No. Go in the top 10. Become what we always wanted to be. A hero of hope to others. Which Endeavor, comes by and he hears that. Which Toya goes like, a promise. He goes, good. And always remember, I believe in you. And smile. Don't want to be like that flaming trash bag now, do you? As Toya's smiling and crying, and then all of a sudden the ice breaks. As Toya tries to go, about to run over, and then Endeavor grabs him and crying. As he's like, let me go! Basically, Endeavor gets out of there and such, bring him over there. As Toya's crying to Endeavor's arms, as she's thinking, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't save my child. Damn it. So, he goes, Endeavor then gets the mindset, it's different this time. He says, I'm gonna help Toy any way I can. And he was right. I changed. I had to become a better father and a better parent. I'm sorry, Izuku, basically. So Endeavor has a redemption arc. So, meanwhile though, Jack Frost was watching this. He's like, shit, we gotta save this kid. And he flies down, and he sees then Izuku's whole entire body gets covered in ice. Nearly. Well, actually, yeah, whole entire body gets covered in ice. In which he goes, fuck, this kid's gonna die soon. And then all of a sudden the moon's glowing. He goes, man, the moon? But she goes like, oh yeah. So, Jack Frost jumps into the water, touches the ground with a staff, as an ice pillar goes up, bringing, Izuku out of the water, and then after Jack Frost does, he immediately basically hits his staff on the ice, which breaks. Izuku is not dead yet. Because of his quirk and resistance to it, it slowed down his death process. So, what happens is, though, Jack Frost was like, alright, since I need to transfer my power to him, and he has become the next Jack Frost, I had to follow what the Man in the Moon told me, which is just a chant I'm making up, so, yeah. So, Jack Frost grabs Izuku's hand, puts his staff in Izuku's hands, basically closes it, put both hands onto his chest, and he goes, I, Jack Frost, the Guardian, the Guardian, hereby give Izuku Todoroki, which he has been watching Izuku for for a little bit, not much, only 2 days, so he knows his name. All my abilities and powers, and I hereby name you Jack Frost. So, after that, Izuku already had white hair and blue eyes. So, I mean, basically he has that already. So I forgot to mention that. So basically, he then, Jack Frost basically feels most his powers leaving, and Izuku is changing a little bit. More like he's getting some type of crystal markings on his neck. Not totally much, just that. So, just crystal markings, basically. That's all. And they look like tattoos, so eh. And Jack Frost basically gets up, he's like, alright then. Looks like I did it. No time to spare though. Anyways, and the moon. I'm ready. He goes, alright, Jack Frost. I'll bring. Actually, I already told Santa Claus that Tooth Fairy would come pick you up. You still have a few months to be around with everyone. Actually, a couple years. Enjoy them. And I will explain what he is. He goes, thanks, Man of the Moon. So Santa Claus comes. During the whole entire commotion, no one really sees him or the Tooth Fairy as he gets in the sleigh and flies off. They don't know who Izuku is, and Jack Frost says he can't tell them who the kid was. All they need to know is that is the new Jack Frost. So, after a couple of hours, them dealing with the fire and such, because Izuku technically almost died. The ice basically was getting a lot weaker. So basically, though, after basically 2 hours, Izuku, not actually 2 hours, only an hour, Izuku wakes up. He's like, my head. And he was like, wait, where am I? Who am I? He goes, and then he, basically sees a light, and then he hears a voice in his head. He goes like, Izuku Todoroki. He's like, huh? what do you mean? He was like, wait, is that my name? He's like, wait, whose voice is that? He was like, I am the man in the moon. And I'm here to tell you what happened. Or at least some of it. The rest of it I cannot reveal yet. He was like, okay, like what? He goes, well, your name is Zuku Todoroki. But, well, this is actually gonna be your other name. Jack Frost. Goes, wait, Jack Frost? I actually like that. Yeah. Eh, just I'll just tell everyone to call me Jack from now on. Which the man was like, seriously? He doesn't even care about his other name? Which he was like, alright. I thought you would care about your other name. It's like, oh, I do. I just feel like I should really just call myself Jack Frost for some reason. He was like, well, anyways, besides that, which is weird, he's like, you are, how can I say this? Well, there's some things different about you for what happened. And, well, basically, this is a different age than the original Jack Frost, the one before you, which there was only one, but he became a spirit. You, on the other hand, was different. He's like, huh? I didn't turn you into Jack Frost. The actual Jack Frost did. He's like, wait, so you mean he basically wanted you to become a spirit and human? Well, basically alive and dead. And, well, the funny thing is, it worked. Congratulations. You can be seen by people who don't believe you, or believe you, and you'll be invisible the whole entire time. So, Izuku's like, okay, and you're gonna become a guardian, if you want. You can choose not to, and you can choose to be a hero. He was like, become a guardian, what do I have to do? Guard all the children. He's like, just sounds like just being a hero. Wait, hero? He was like, allow me to just explain this few things. So he just explains about Hero Society a little bit, and then villains, and then quirks. It's like, and then he says, and you have your quirk still. He's like, sweet, what is it? Ice manipulation. He's like, yes, this works for me then, right? He's like, uh-huh. Since you are Jack Frost, you basically can summon and manipulate the ice already, but for your quirk, it's way more advanced, and you can basically summon blizzards. He's like, yes, I'm already loving this power. And I guess I gotta find Jack and thank him. So, how do I find him? He's like, well, he'll find you. He's like, okay. Anyways, though, man in the moon, all you have to do is, like, do whatever you want. He's like, cool. I'm gonna, well, become a vigilante. I mean, if you say heroes and you said I need a license, vigilante work sounds way more fun. Besides, no one sees me. I can think of so many games to play on them. So Izuku puts a step on his shoulder, leans one of his arms on it, the other one basically on it too. He's like, anyways, how do I guess you can fly. He's like, alright. Well, I'll figure that out on my way. So, well, as in Izuku just jumps up though, and somehow the wind, he flies on the wind itself, which he's like, whoa, this is awesome. And, he starts doing that. He flies and such. So, let's do a time skip. About, we're doing a time skip when Toya's 24 and Shoto Todoroki is about to be going to UA. In this one, Endeavor has changed a lot, went to a hospital, she got diagnosed, and she was getting help and treatment for it. Natsu doesn't hate his father, Fumi, exactly the same way as in canon. And, Shoto has a scar, but due to his own training with his flame. And, yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, Toyo's a pro hero. They figured out what was wrong with him. It was technically because his hair was changing color, by the time he was getting out of UA, they basically what happened was after his hair changed color, he stopped hurting himself with his flames, and then they found out why. His skin was actually having like ice crystallizations on it, and that's why it was burning him. Which then they were like, basically they were like, so my son is stronger than me in my firepower, but because his body was couldn't handle his quirk, it's because of this. Oh my God, Izuku was right. I should have never gave up on him, and I was a horrible father. So when he found that out, he really felt guilty. So, but well, basically Mirko was upset, or I mean Roomie, aka Mirko was upset, and basically the Easter Bunny was accompanying her because, well, he became her adopted dad, and he does live in Japan with her as a house, but he also manages his own stuff and for Easter's. So, yeah. Anyways, though, Izuku basically has been going around all entire world of bringing snow whenever it is around December and the winter, basically. And well, he did exactly the same thing as Jack Frost did to the Easter Bunny. But the thing was, though, when the Easter Bunny was doing his, everything for Easter, the snow started coming. He's like, "Oh, come on, Jack! You really have to do the exact same thing to me again?" And which Izuku has the hood, and he's like, "Huh? What do you mean? I never met you. Wait, are you the Easter Bunny? Oh shit! It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Jack Frost." He's like, "I know who you are, Jack, and why do you act like you don't know me?" This one I didn't know, so he's like, "Oh, I guess you didn't hear the news. Old Jack is, well, dead. I met him already. Really nice guy. And, well, he don't want to say this. He goes, say hi to the Easter kangaroo." And I realized, that's you. He's like, what the? He was, wait, what? Why is it? Well, there's only enough snow for this. As all of a sudden, when Izuku snaps his fingers, like anywhere the Easter Bunny had like hidden stuff for the kids and such, because there was like a park, it was only snow in that park. As all of a sudden, there's like multiple different things happening. Like all of a sudden, there's like little rabbits, snow rabbits hopping around, while basically snow people are basically, or should I say, snow men or snow women, making rabbits eat, basically out of snow and such as they move. As there's like snowflakes going around, like doing different things, like basically becoming a wonderland of Easter and snow. He's like, what the? He was like, yeah, I'm pretty more advanced than Jack Frost, well, old one, but gotta give it handy to him. He did tell me one thing. What we do is making people laugh and have fun. Always making them smile, even the most dangerous times. But I like to do it anyways. So, Easter Bunny is basically takes off the hood, and after Easter Bunny sees him, yeah, he has white hair and blue eyes, but he's not, Jack. He's like, who are you? He's like, well, I like to go by Jack Frost, but the man in the moon told me, my name is Izuku Todoroki. It's a pleasure to meet you. Which, well, the Easter Bunny's eyes widen. He goes, wait, Izuku Todoroki? He goes, yeah. I even found out the day I died. It was actually a couple minutes after my birthday hit. I had just hit 18. I mean, that kind of sucked. But, Which is like, really? How did you die? Well, after I came back, I was able to sneak into a library, kind of researched my name, and found out what happened. Turns out it saved my brother from falling in ice, and because of falling into the freezing water, and because of, my quirk was ice, basically I can make ice manipulate it. If And my only downside my quirk was if I used it too much, I would get frozen. So, well, basically hypothermia, but also freeze over me. If I did use too much at once, though, it would like basically make like little ice blocks on me, and plus clothing wet, you kind of sink, and then, well, after using quirk so much, I would have technically frozen over. So, I guess the old Jack Frost saved me. Anyways, huh? As then he sees a girl looking for basically a Easter egg. He goes, it's always in the least likely place to find it. So he goes, I'll be right back. So Zuko floats over to the girl, lands, and by the way, he's just wearing a regular blue hoodie, some pants. Since he knows he doesn't need no sneakers on or anything, he just go barefoot. So that's what he does. He goes, hey, little girl, you have any problems with this? And she goes, I can't find no Easter egg. Did all the kids get them? He's like, now, come on, let me help you. So basically, he holds out his hand to her, she grabs it, and, well, he was like, so, you want to make this a little game? He goes, sure. He goes, okay, so, here's what's gonna happen. You basically answer my questions, basically, and a little snowflake will come over and help us find this Easter egg, alright? She goes, okay. So, he goes, okay, first question. What is your favorite candy? She goes, uh, huh, licorice. And he goes, huh, really? Basically, he doesn't want to ask her any too hard questions. So he was like, well, that's correct. And so basically, a little snowflake comes over. He was like, next question. What do you think I like? Cats or dogs? He goes, dogs. He goes, correct. I like both though, but doesn't really matter. As then another snowflake comes, he was like, okay, third question. The birds chirp. She goes, uh-huh. He goes, correct. So basically another snowflake comes, and he goes, now then, fourth and final question. He goes, huh? She says, huh? He's like, so, do you believe in Jack Frost? She goes, I mean, he always comes and, well, nips you at your nose. When it's the first time of winter. He goes, uh-huh. But everyone would say he's not real, but if he makes the snow, then he basically brings, that chill down your nose and spine, then he has to be real. He goes, so, do you believe in him? He goes, yes. He's like, good answer. There's also another snowflake comes, and he goes like, now, watch this trick. As then when he grabs them all, she's like, uh-huh. And then, he basically lets go of her hand. He puts both, hands together as he basically, starts to make them into a circle as he goes into a little snowball. As then he extends it a little bit. And then he goes, now, watch. And when he throws it up into the air, all of a sudden it turns into a little bird. A little snowbird. And he was like, now, little bird, can you help us please find her egg? And which is, basically tweets and, flies over. And he's just, come on. So basically, she grabs back on his hand. They basically run over as it basically making a pathway. As then, well, the place that no one will look is actually underneath in between two rocks. I basically goes like, look, see, there's an egg, and she goes, yay! She runs over and grabs it, and she goes, thank you, mister. What's your name is Jack Frost, little one. And he pats her on the head. He goes, remember, I'm always around. And basically puts on the hood and just flies off and disappears. And she goes, I was right. He was real. She runs over though. And, basically her mom's like, well, actually, I really think it would not be Airy. So, just some random kid. Yeah, let's just say random kid. Yeah, one one of the kids from Izuku's middle school in canon. Well, canon Izuku's like had a little, had one of his bullies, this stretchy fingers kid, you know, had a little sister. And he's like, "Hey sis, you found an eggplant?" And she goes, "Uh huh. Who helped you? Or did you find out by yourself?" He goes, "No, someone helped me." He goes, "Who?" "Jack Frost." He goes, "Jack Frost? Come on, he's not real." He's like, "Yes, he is. I saw him. He had white hair and blue eyes. He wore a, blue hoodie and black pants. And he was barefoot, though. And then he flew up into the air and disappeared." Which, he was like, "Really? Jack Frost is real?" I mean, kind of explains some things, but come on. It's like saying the Easter Bunny is real and the Tooth Fairy. I mean, Santa Claus is real. Actually, the Tooth Fairy is real. So why not Jack Frost and the Easter Bunny? Okay, I believe. But I still need to find theories. So, basically, though, as he basically, lands onto, where he was on a bench next to the Easter Bunny, he's like, "So, sorry about that." It's like, "Did you just, yeah, sorry, just thought I'll be a little more helpful to the girl." Anyways, it's great to know you. Get to know you, actually. Because, are you a gardener? He's like, "Oh, no. I'm a vigilante. I use my abilities and my quirk to help out people more. I mean, so you guys do the guardian thing. Me? I'm doing the hero thing. So, catch you later." It's basically he jumps up in the air and starts flying off. He was like, then he turns around and goes like, "Oh, wait. But if you guys ever need my help, I'm willing to help out. See ya." As he flies off. Which, the Easter Bunny's like, "I gotta tell Roomie." So, basically, after, Easter's almost, done and over with all around the world, when Roomie basically, since she's in her 27s, I think. Hold on, let me just check canon age. Yeah, she's 27. So when Roomie gets home, she's like, just another day at work. Basically, a whole lot of villains to fight. Basically, she's in her apartment. She goes, "But nothing's the same ever since Izuku died." And she has a picture of him and her together, and she goes, "I really miss you, Izuku." And, she gets a knock on the door. She was like, "Huh? Who's knocking on my door, this late at night?" When she opens it, she sees, the Easter Bunny. She goes, "Dad?" He goes, "Sorry, Rumi, I know it's late, but I have to tell you something." And she goes, "Alright, come on in." He's like, so he does come in. She's like, "Is it something to do with the Guardians?" She goes, No, it's... Remember that kid, Izuku Todoroki? You basically cried at his funeral and such, and, I was there, but I wasn't really paying attention because, I was just focusing on trying to comfort you. She's like, "Do you have to really remind me of that?" He's like, "Well, the thing is, I think I saw him today." She says, "Huh?" "He became a Jack Frost." He's like, "Wait, Jack Frost? I thought Tooth Fairy said, he was dying. He died 2 years ago, right? Or last year." He goes, "Well, on my way here, I stopped by Tooth Fairies and Santa's. And, they told me he basically, Jack Frost, faded away last year. He somehow denied, dying." But besides the point, I never got a chance to ask, but, I think he became the new Jack Frost, like I said, and I saw him today. He helped me out in the park nearby, with Easter, gathered them up. All the kids were looking for the eggs. She goes, "Wait, you mean when snow started only falling in that specific area, and then all of a sudden multiple things were changing around it?" He goes, "Yeah." She's like, "No, that couldn't be it." He's like, "Well, I'll see. I'll talk about it with Tooth Fairy, Sandman, and Santa. And if they say it is, I'll let you know. I don't want to give you false hope, but I still think you should know." Which she goes, "Thanks, Dad." He goes, "Look," he basically walks over and he's taller than her, but he was like, if he is alive, or is Jack Frost, he's saying he's doing hero work. I don't know where he is though, so. But she just says, him doing hero work? Well, that does make kind of sense. He never really cared if there was he needed a license, but he always stopped because he didn't want to get in trouble for his brother. So he was like, alright, but if he is, basically, doing what he does, he's probably in the city. He goes, thanks, Dad. He goes, no problem. He hugs her, and he goes, now then, I'm gonna do my thing and go talk to them. She goes, right. So basically, Spider leaves. While roomie sits down in a chair nearby, and she's looking at the picture of her and Zuko, and she goes, you're alive? And you never came to find me? She's clenching her fist. She goes, that jerk. He always does something like this. But, she remembers because the Tooth Fairy and Santa and Sandman and Jack Frost, met her already. So Jack Frost did tell her about his past where he lost his memories. So she goes, did exactly the same thing happen to you? So, meanwhile, while this is happening, the Zuko is basically on a rooftop. He was like, what to do? I wonder, how many villains are out tonight? So he just kind of jumped from rooftop to rooftop a little bit, and then he hears basically a scream as he goes, whoa, that was a loud one. So basically he flies over to where it is. It was just in an alley, not alleyway parking lot. And this person's like, please let me go, basically. And he goes, nuh-uh, give us all your money. He's like, look, I don't have anything. Alright, I just spent it just to get these groceries. He was like, oh, that's too bad. Give us that anyways, and give us the food and stuff. As one of the guys was like, it doesn't even matter, right? Because if none of them are good enough, we're just gonna kill them anyways. Which the other guy goes, yeah, true. Which he's like, but he's like, look, nothing personal, man. It's just like, we need food, we're hungry, we haven't eaten nothing. And then all of a sudden he's like, right, Bob. I don't know, just saw the random name. As in, all of a sudden he's like, Bob? Which this guy, basically seen the guy, Bob is frozen over. Basically the second goon. Which, first goon looks over, he's like, Bob, what happened? And he goes, sorry, he's frozen over, but he's not dead. It's like, what the? Who are you? Where are you? He's like, come on, can't you see me? Oh, wait, you don't believe in Jack Frost, huh? It's like, what? Jack Frost? He ain't real. As in, all of a sudden, Zuko was like, really? So he basically blows in the guy's neck, making a chill go down his spine. He's like, what the? He's like, so, you believe in Jack Frost now? He goes, what? As Zuko appears on, how can I say this? A wire fence? Yeah, basically a fence, basically. And he's on top of it, he's on the staff. He goes like, I'm right here. Woohoo! Which was like, what the? He goes, come on. And basically he's just looking across it. He's like, I gave you pretty good hints. So I have to say more, as then he taps the fence, and all of a sudden, ice tendrils come out of it, wrapping around the guy, pulling him into it. He goes, just another day's work for Jack Frost. Which, he goes like, you're real. He was like, yeah. Hey, it's alright if you don't, it's alright if you don't tell no one. It's fine by me. Anyways, need some help? Which the guy goes, yeah, that'd be great. And then he's like, wait, why did you, as all of a sudden, captured scarf goes around him, he was like, oh, God, Eraserhead. we do this every year. He basically turns around and he was like, Jack Frost, you're under arrest for illegal quirk usage. It's like, I've already told you this 100 times. It's not. It is, and it's not a quirk. And besides, what are you gonna do? I mean, you have no firepower on you, which is how one smiles. He goes like, "That's what you think." And then all of a sudden, two people arrive. One with blue flames, the other one with red flames, but older looking. As basically, he goes, well, okay, this is gonna be Toya's name. Phoenix, reasons why. It was Izuku's favorite bird, mythical creature, so he, So yeah, so, anyways, so basically he goes, originally goes, Endeavor, Phoenix, you ready? Which, basically, Endeavor goes, always a Razor, which Toya just nods. When basically Izuku looks at them, and all of a sudden he gets this, flash in his head about memories with them. He's like, what the? Are these my past? My past memories? And then basically Toya goes, wait, Endeavor, look at him closely. Which Izuku does have his hood off. He goes, wait, that can't be. Which Endeavor, Eraser's like, what's wrong? He's like, that's. As all of a sudden Izuku was able to tap his staff on the ground, as then ice forms behind him, as then he just stomps his foot in the ground, as it does that ice that was going towards the wall, stops and changes into, like, how can I say this? It changes into just a wire, not a wire, basically like a scorpion tail, hidden Eraser's, hidden Aizawa's scarf, ripping it, and then he's able to break free, which, Toya is like, how is he able to have such good control of his ice quirk? As then Izuku just jumps up in the air and floats up, flies up all the way up to the rooftop and lands. He was like, I don't know who the heck you guys are, but I don't know you guys, yet I have memories of you. Who the hell are you? He's like, what? Which Endeavor's like, what do you mean? He's like, I remember calling you a flaming trash bag, and I remember, you had different hair color, but the facial features are the same if you were older. Well, if you were younger, and he just had more memories, coming to his head. He hits his head and he's like, stop remembering, not now. Which Toya goes over and he's like, Say, let me ask you a question. He goes, what? He goes, do you remember anything about a duo's name? A duo name what I was gonna come up with my big brother? He goes, yeah, I think it was called Fire and Ice Duo? It sounds like a shitty name, but it's also childish exactly at the same time. Cause yeah, Phoenix and okay, I just need to remember. I had a name for what Izuku's hero name was gonna be. Basically Toya, aka was always gonna be called Phoenix, but I think Izuku's name. Hold on. Okay. So basically, since Izuku's hero name was because he can create ice and manipulate it and change it into weapons. He goes Ice Creator or Ice Wizard. Yeah, probably Ice Wizard. In which, because the Fire Ice duo, Ice Wizard and Phoenix. Man, I was just joking around with you on that one, Toya. Which, Toya smiles, he goes, okay, you guys are probably wondering, why so early his reveal? I mean, it's not like they can ever catch him and stuff. So, and also it's like it's been 3 years, and he honestly doesn't remember them. Him just seeing them, we get memories and such, so it kind of is obvious it would happen. So, well, she was like, wait, how did I? He goes, how are you alive? How you can't even breathe and walk? How are you? And then Zuko just, well, suddenly all, like, ice spears come out, well, technically, ice spikes or ice spears come around Toya, Endeavor, and Aizawa. He's like, sorry, but I don't want to chat no more. So, you guys have a nice day, and, yeah, I only came here because of Easter. See ya. And then he basically disappears from their eyes, which Endeavor's like, I can't believe it. How is he alive? Which Toy was like, I don't know. Which is always like, okay, who the heck is he? You guys haven't even told me. He was like, that is my dead son. Which he was like, wait. How is your son who's supposed to be dead alive? He was like, I don't know. But we have to find out. So, yeah. Izuku basically, leaves Japan after that, and technically it was Easter, so it's like spring, summer, well, springish, summerish, like a year's worth of training before they get into UA, so that was like in the middle of it. And, well, Izuku leaves, and he comes back the day of, UA. So, well, technically he doesn't come back until the USJ. He's like, should I go see what's the future heroes gonna be like? I'm always impressed by them. Especially that miracle woman. She's very fucking battle hungry. I wonder if she has a boyfriend. Wait. Yeah, I probably can't have someone because I'm technically immortal. But I'll see what happens. So he just, flies all the way over to UA, and then, villains happen. Aizawa was getting beat up by the Nomu, and Todoroki, Bakugo are basically trying to, technically they're trying to stop the Nomu. Basically, Shiraki told him to take them down. Bakugo gets slapped away while Todoroki, Shoto, is about to get punched. As all of a sudden, something just hits the Nomu's hand as it starts screaming. What everyone sees is just a big, giant ice sword. As someone lands on it, he's like, oh, sorry, but I didn't mean to, take your hand off. I was aiming for your leg. But that works. Which, he has his hood on with his staff in hand. Everyone's looking at him. Which Shigoro goes like, who are you? He's like, oh, haven't heard of me? I'm, you can call it the #1 vigilante of the world. Since I've been everywhere. The name's Jack Frost. As then he just taps the ice sword with his staff, as then basically spikes of ice go into the Nomu and push him back. And he goes like, so, heroes of the next generation, I've figured I should help you. And, hey, oversized caterpillar zombie, you okay over there? He's like, yo. He goes, yeah, I know, you're gonna capture me and try to bring me into justice for illegal quirk usage. She's like, no, please, help the students. He goes, this is the first time you ever asked me to raise her head. Just for that, I promise you. As instead of his joking attitude and him becoming serious, he goes, nothing bad will ever happen to these students of yours. As when he walks, all of a sudden there's basically fog of, from his feet coming off of it. The ground basically from his feet. Fog is coming over it. As all the not heroes, as all the villains are seeing this, like, wait, that's Jack Frost. How? I thought he wasn't real. how is he here? How did he even get into UA? And he goes, questions for later, villains. Now, let's have some fun. So he just like basically put one foot on the ground as everything happens to USJ is just frozen over. Which as our eyes widen. And he goes, so, let's see how much you guys can handle this. As when he puts his hand on the ground, he goes, have fun with my ice dragons and Cerberus. As basically ice dragons appear, and a couple of ice Cerberuses appear, but they're like 2 times bigger than humans, that's all. Not really big. And there's multiple. Which they're like, what the? He goes, hey, boys, don't kill, just break bones. As they all nod, as multiple villains are being knocked out by these creatures, and some of them have broken bones. And then basically from his hand, he summons out multiple, well, creatures are ice that are basically griffins. He goes like, hey, go gather up the students here, pretend. And, well, as then basically then creates more, like, he creates ice harpies. He was like, and you guys, defeating villains in the other areas, which they nod and they go forth. Basically, Aizawa is shocked at how much control he has over this. He was like, this can't be a quirk. This is impossible. He can create all of this and he's not being tired. So, from his staff, he basically changes into an ice spear, basically, or javelin, and he just starts swinging it around. He's like, so, wherever you are, let's have some fun, and, or should I say, let's dance. Which, well, technically the ice sword then, like, changes and turns into an actual version of himself, in which he has then basically, like, well, a staff, just like the real one, which he was like, what the, how is this possible? So, Shigaraki says, Naomo, kill that guy! As no, basically hand regenerated who runs at, Zuko. And basically, he broke the ice, spikes anyways. So Zuko goes like, alright. So, as Zuko runs forward, as, he's basically able to dash across the ice pretty simply. And, like, even starts skating off of it. And Naomo tries to throw a punch, Zuko dodges and slides and skates. He goes like, come on! Come on! I mean, you're so slow. It's like, I don't know. You're just some big giant idiot or something. Bird, I think. Wait, are you even a bird? Which Noah just starts screeching. He's like, nope. Zombie, I think. Hey, Aizawa. Not Aizawa. Hey, zombie. I think he's beating you. Which is, I was like, is this just a game to him? And then, well, right when Nomu's about to hit him, he dodges it, cuts its legs off, and basically takes off one of his arms, in which Nomu was able to push himself back and jump and regenerate. He goes, man, you're such an annoyance. Looks like I really can't fool around. I really do like to play around and pull pranks with my ice. But I guess I can't. Guess I really can't fool around with this thing. Oh well. Basically, Zuko throws his staff / ice javelin up in the air as everyone's Aizawa and the rest of the heroes that get there due to the griffin and harpies, protecting them and helping out. Seeing this, as all of a sudden, Zuko just takes a stance with his palm. Basically, he has his left arm forward, as basically his right palm all the way back. As all of a sudden, an actual ice spear is basically forming in the air. Everyone's shocked by this. As then he basically has this, the spear actually looks like there's a mouth on it. He goes, haven't used this in a while, but taste this. Ultimate move. Ice devouring dragon beast! As basically he just shoots it forward as it, launches from the ice all around it, the area. It's just starting to go towards the spear. as it starts swirling around, and it looks like it's actually forming the head of a dragon as it actually opens up. Which this is when the heroes come in with All Might and heroes and Ida. Which, well, the thing is, when Mirko, aka Roomie, sees this, she knows that move so well, along with Toya, because, well, Izuku showed him it. And when it basically hits the Nomu, it goes all the way through and pulling the Nomu with it. When it hits the wall, all of a sudden, it looks like the whole entire Nomu gets sprung open by ice. But it forms into, like, it looks like an actual form above, like a flower. He goes, I don't know why I named it that. I guess because I made the spirit like a beast. But always funny how it always seems like a flower from above. Which Sugar always like, cheater, 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 cheater! And then, well, some like of the ice that's on the ground shoots towards Sugar Rocky, scratching off the hand, his face a little. He's like, really? Cheater? How old are you? 10 or 5? Which Kirigiri, morphs him out. He's like, whoever you are, Jack Frost, I'll find you and kill you. And yeah. So he then catches his staff and then it just, turns back to a staff, which is just a regular loop and wood. He goes, well, that seems to be good enough. And then he just taps it, on the ground. And then all of a sudden, all the villains that were knocked out or still around get tied up in ice. And he goes, well, that seems to be it. That seems to be it, Razorhead. I did my end of the job. No need to thank me. Which, Razorhead's up because of Sue and Momo. He's like, how powerful are you? He goes, who knows? I mean, I was always this powerful when I woke up. So, I think it's alright. But anyways, it looks like I need to be going. It looks like the all pro heroes are. And then he goes, then he hears someone's name. He goes, Izuku, is that really you? And his eyes wide. He looks back. He goes, Roomie? Is that? And then he basically starts holding his head. And he goes, what the hell's happening? He's screaming. He's basically on the ground. Starts screaming out in pain. Curls into a ball as a whole flood of memories are coming back. As then she goes over to him and picks him, basically holding him. He's like, Izuku, it's all right. Basically, it's me. He's why does my head hurt so much? As well, he starts to go unconscious basically due to the pain. As he then hears Rumi calling out his name. Izuku, and then, knocked out. While he's knocked out, though, he sees something, a light. He goes, even though the man on the moon is not, the moon's not out, he goes, seems like you're remembering Izuku. He was like, the man in the moon? I haven't seen you or heard from you in 3 years. What the hell? It's like, well, I only came here when the time was right. And it looks like you're starting to remember your past. It's like, huh? Well, doesn't matter. You'll remember eventually. So, when you do, what would you choose? Still the path of a hero? Or do what you're doing now? Either way, it's your choice. And I like to want to say, I haven't said this at all or anything, but happy birthday, Zuko. Which, because you're 3 years overdue on those. I think my birthday passed already. I'm 27 maybe now, or 28. Lost count. It goes, anyways, when you wake up, it's gonna be difficult for you to process, so take your time. He goes, alright, thanks again, man in the moon. Catch you later. As we will proceed to Zuko waking up. But that is where we're leaving it off. I'm sorry, but I'm technically getting tired. Hope you guys enjoyed this what if. Bye everyone, have a nice day, night, wherever you are. And Christmas Eve, what a special. Well, technically Christmas special, so bye.